So we're back, we're talking FF7, we're talking Rebirth, and we have an interesting bit of info today. So on the 21st, of course, we're getting the Junon demo added to the demo itself. You have to complete the Nibelheim episode to be able to access that demo. But we're also getting an update coming to the demo, but also the full game involving performance mode. So the Final Fantasy VII Twitter accounts dropped very similar tweets today that say the update to the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo scheduled for February 21st will apply improvements to the visual quality when selecting performance mode from the graphics option. The same improvements will also be applied to the full game. It's obviously great that they're listening to fan feedback and they're already wanting to apply like an update to the demo just to make the demo look better. It'll obviously apply to the full game, but it's just kind of interesting because this has been like a complaint for people. It's something that's existed for like the whole remake project, right? Like the PS4 version of remake had like texture issues and like graphical stuff, resolution shit, texture pop-ins, all kinds of other stuff like that. The infamous door, obviously, when it comes to the PS4 version of the game. And I don't think the PS4 version ever got like any updates, right? There's no day one patch for the game, which is insane because almost every single game out there ever in the modern era for a long ass time now has like a day one patch. There's always something to fix with the game, right? And I don't think like the PS4 version ever got any updates other than like I think when we got close to the PS5 release of the game, there was like a weird like 100 megabyte update and everybody's wondering what it was and shit. And I believe it had to do with like the save transfer feature they were doing from the PS4 to the PS5, right? Obviously the PS5 version of the game did improve some shit. I don't know if they fixed all the texture issues, all the pop-in issues or whatever, but it definitely improved the game. It's coming here to Rebirth that there's still some sort of resolution type issues that they're wanting to fix. Listen to fan feedback. It's kind of, I don't know, man. Like I get it. Like I want the game to look as good as it can or whatever. But these weren't things that really bothered me. Like when you go back to my 40-minute like demo recap review that I did not too long ago, we never talked about like the performance of the game or the graphics, the resolution or texture pop-ins or anything like that because if they were there, they didn't really bother me. Like, of course, if you get really close to like an object, it looks like shit. But I'm not, walking around looking at like every rock and tree. I just don't really care. There was one pop-in that I noticed on both playthroughs I did at the time of making my review, because I played the game once and then I played it again a second time to record gameplay at the exact same spot during one of like the cutaways where you're looking at the group in Calm. There's like a weird pop-in behind Tifa at one point. This particular cutaway happens right after you talk to Sephiroth at the inn in Nibelheim, and then right before it cuts away back to the Nibelheim flashback, you get this weird pop-in to the left of Tifa right here when she's sitting on the couch. And as far as I'm aware, like that's the only time it happened, at least for me with my multiple playthroughs I've done. It happened one time, didn't feel like it was worth mentioning. In terms of just general resolution performance mode, like a 44-inch TV, I think it is, that I had my PS5 hooked up to. We're playing in performance mode. Everything looked perfectly fine to me. I haven't actually even played in graphics mode, so I don't even know how good the game can actually look. I'm playing on what is the graphics setting, technically, and it's perfectly fine. I'm not saying it's not a fair complaint. People can want the game to look better. I want it to perform better and look better and everything, too. But it's just it's kind of like the yellow paint thing. I just don't really care. Like, who gives a shit? Like, I just don't care if it's not, like, the most optimal graphics and performance mode. We know what it is. The graphics mode, performance mode. We've had this for a while now. Like, you're not going to get as good a resolution if you're in performance mode. Maybe it's not up to where it needs to be. Maybe that's why they're patching it. But for me, it's perfectly fine. The thing is, too, when we're moving into Rebirth, we're getting a much bigger world, right? Like, they had these kind of resolution, texture issues, pop-ins, whatever, on Remake. And that's a big game, but a small world, right? And now we're moving into what is essentially an open world game for the most part, right? So there's probably going to be other issues I'd imagine with this game that maybe didn't even exist when it came to Remake. And they're fixing like the resolution in performance mode. So I wonder if that's something that's like an engine thing, because they're talking about it carrying over to the full game. Is it like something they just didn't catch before the demo was out there and everybody was playing it or something like that? I don't know exactly, but I can imagine that there might actually be actual updates to Rebirth that we never got for Remake, just because of how big the game's going to be. Like, the world might not function as well as they want it to, just because of they're stepping into new territory here. Pretty much it for the video, my dudes. I just want to cover this really quick with this little bit of news. If the resolution and performance mode was bothering you for some reason, it's going to be at least improved with the update we're getting on the 21st. It's giving us the Junon demo. Video, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Social networks in the description below. Follow me on Twitter, @DaveYT. That's it. Bye.
Used to care what people thought, but now I care more, and nobody out here's got it figured out. So therefore, I've lost all hope of a happy ending, depending on whether or not it's worth it. So insecure, no one's perfect. We spend it with no shame. We blow that like Coltrane. We in here like Logain, or leave it like Cobain.